is up, guys? Welcome back to episode 6 of the Skeptics Podcast. We're back on it. We're getting consistent with it. Gonna have no more problems. Hopefully, we're set and done. Hope everybody is having a great Memorial Day. Be sure to go out there and pay your respects to all the people that put their lives on the line for this country. So, hope everybody's having a great day. And we're just going to kind of go off the cuff again today because we're doing it a little different. Normally, we get all of our filming done on Sunday, and we all just had really, really busy Sundays. But for y'all, we're going to make it happen somehow, and then we're going to get the videos uploaded normally on Wednesday like we do.
Yep.
So everything else has been good. My name is Dylan Turley, and the other host,
John Reeves.
and Mr. John Reeves.
Yeah.
How are you?
I'm good. I'm feeling pretty good today. Feeling energized.
I think, as crazy as it sounds, the last episode we were talking about how good we felt too.
Yeah.
And we've done both of them later in the day versus us doing them around like 1 or so. That's normally when we film everything.
Yeah.
But I'm kind of liking the afternoon thing.
I kind of am too.
I don't know why, but it's been going pretty good. So yeah, I'm going to start off with a story.
Okay.
Me and a friend of mine went on a hike that we don't really know the name of. We call it like the suck hike or whatever you want to call it. And we essentially took everything that we think that we would need if there was like a civil unrest or the world was kind of going to crap and we had to book out for a couple days. And we wanted to do it when it was really, really, really hot. If anybody does not know, we live in Arkansas. The humidity can be like 1,000. And then the weather could also be like anywhere between like 1,000 degrees, and then it might start snowing the next day with the sun out. This is how Arkansas is. If you've never experienced it, be sure to come down, experience for a little bit, experience the summer and the winter. It's during the same time, so that's how it is. But anyway, we went on my buddy's land, and it was called on Onyx the Tick Valley. So, with that being said, we kind of knew going into it there was going to be ticks. Did we think there was going to be this many ticks? No. I've been making jokes all day long about getting some kind of disease from this because I've never had this many tick bites on me in my entire life. And I would show body parts on here, but it's probably not things that people want to see. John got to see a little bit of it, but I mean, it was wild. So the whole premise of this thing was, like we said, we wanted to test ourselves. I think it was like 90 degree-ish the last couple days or so.
Right.
Humidity's kind of been at the high. It even rained on us just a little bit.
Yep.
And we tried to obviously take as little amount of stuff as possible.
Right.
So we ended up sleeping in hammocks because we didn't want to sleep on the ground. Thank the great Lord above we didn't sleep on the ground because I can't imagine how many more tick bites I would have. Because at some point you just have to be like, it is what it is.
Right.
I mean, we had bug spray, but, I mean, I kid y'all not. Right now, guys, I probably have over 20 tick bites. And this is like all kind of ticks. Regular ticks, seed ticks, the Lone Star ticks that apparently carries Lyme disease or whatever. But got bit by all of them. I've ate meat today. So apparently there's some disease that you can't eat meat no more.
Yeah, I've heard of that.
Do you know... Is it you can never eat meat again?
I don't know. I think I just recently heard about this too.
I agree. Well, I recently deep dove into Lyme disease.
Okay.
Because before, you've grown up here your whole life, correct?
Yeah.
You've had ticks on you before.
Oh, yeah.
When we were little, nobody really said anything to us about that. I mean, were you ever told, be careful for ticks?
Yeah.
You were told that?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so I wasn't told that. They were just kind of like, go off and play in the woods, and then hopefully you don't get, like, bit by that many ticks.
I mean, it's not that often that I would be told, but every once in a while, like, if they know
that there's going to be ticks?
Yeah, it's like, okay, I'm like, hey, I'm going to go in the woods. They're like, all right, you should probably use some bug spray and be mindful, which still doesn't pay off. I told him there was one point in my life we were picking blackberries, and I was off in the woods picking wild blackberries and the briars, and my legs, no joke, okay, you couldn't see skin is how I remember it. That's probably exaggerating, but I had probably like 1,000 seed ticks on my legs, and I ran to the house, jumped in the shower, and just washed them off.
Yeah.
So I got lucky on that one. Like, as soon as they got on me, I got in the shower, got them off. But I have heard that you can get sick.
So, since he said that, I was talking to him about. We were just talking about this in the bathroom. There was creeks around us pretty much, not really the whole time, and a lot of this was not trailed. I mean, my friend Jacob, he mapped out a trip for us. Essentially, it was supposed to take 2 days. We done it in a night.
Yeah.
So we were like, after that, we just kind of made up what we were gonna do.
Right.
I mean, we essentially just followed a creek down the side, but we didn't get in the water unless we absolutely had to. So there was many times that we had to take our shoes off, tie them to the carrier or backpack, walk across the water. I'm so lucky I didn't fall one time because I had a rifle, my cell phone, all this stuff that could have. And I think the rifle would have been fine,
Rifle.
but I don't know about the optic just because it's a little. It's on the cheaper $350, and I know there's gonna be some people say that's not cheap. Budget's different for everybody. That's just what I could afford at the time.
Yeah.
And it's worked pretty good, except for the illumination you just cannot see during the daytime. It's LBBO. Anyway, so we're hiking down to follow this trail.
Yeah.
And I brought the right clothes. I mean, I didn't have no complaints. Obviously, it's hot. You're sweating, but the more you sit there and you like loaf in that,
Right.
you're just gonna hate your life.
Oh yeah.
So we're walking down. At one part, we're walking down the side of this creek bed, and there's no path, and the grass is high. There's a bunch of briars. I'm wearing like that long sleeve blue North Face
Like a performance shirt.
performance shirt, yeah, wind shirt or whatever you want to call it. And you know how thin that thing is, so it's
yeah.
catching on everything.
Oh, yeah.
Now, granted, it didn't mess it up, so it's still good and everything. Slept in a hammock with a plate carrier on. You can do it. It's not fun, but you can do it. Sleeping with the rifle wasn't bad at all, which
No,
I like hammock camping. You don't, though.
yeah, not really.
So it definitely takes a while to. How many times have you been?
I've always opted out of camping in the hammock.
Have you ever so you've never camped?
I've never like camped out in one. No, I always bring a tent of some sort.
Dude, you ought to try, because there's a thing that's like a lot of people think this is how it is and it's not supposed to be. You lay flat in a hammock, you banana, and it like essentially swallows you.
Yeah.
You literally, like, if the hammock's laying this way, you
Yeah.
have to lay your body like that, and then somehow, to physics or whatever you want to call it, you lay flat, like you can kind of, not I'm not gonna say spread out, but you can like. It doesn't put no arch on your back because it tightens it just enough to where you can lay straight and it doesn't banana out.
Yeah.
So anyway, that's the thing. Now, when you got a carrier on, and then you got the gun in there with you, and then you got a net on top of you to keep the bugs off, and then it might rain, so you have a tarp or a rain fly. It gets kind of snug. I mean, I think over the first night we probably slept 2 hours, and then the second night we slept 4 hours. We took the carriers off. I'm sure that just depends on how hostile your environment is to keep your carrier off.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, we're gonna do the same thing in the winter. But
I want to be there for the winter.
all right, you're gonna be there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
100%.
We could probably still use that place because hopefully there's not no ticks in the winter. Oh, no, I just completely missed over something that we were just talking about. My brain's everywhere today, guys, so I apologize for jumping back and forth. The whole reason that I just said me and you talked about this in the bathroom, if anybody ever has a bunch of ticks on them, and doesn't matter what kind of ticks and they have not bit you yet, submerge yourself in water and they will instantly come off. I mean, like, we had a friend of ours, his leg was covered in ticks, and they were crawling, not bitten, and as soon as he got in water, they just took off. Now, this water was running pretty rapidly, so the ticks just didn't float around you. I mean, they took off down the thing. So, and then I just tested it at one point. I mean, I had so many ticks on them, I pretty much could have called them my pets at this point. And I had one that was in my hand, and I just put my hand in water, and as soon as it hit the water, it was gone.
Yeah.
Like, it just started floating off. So, now once they're on to you, that's more of just to pull them off. But, yeah, that's just a little tip for anybody for about ticks if you're in water about it.
Yeah, I talked to a guy who knows a little bit about being out in the woods like this, got some experience with some survival and evasion tactics. Um, I'm talking about my brother. He's in the U.S. Army. He's been through SEER school. Um, he is a helicopter pilot, and so we were discussing some of the stuff, and I was torn on the idea of just going for a suck fest, and all of these guys I know who've like been there are like, there's no reason. Like, if you kind of know about like what it's going to be like, there's not really a point, right? If you've been through it at least once. I've not been through that exact experience, but I've been through plenty of similar experience. When I went through my workout program last year, where I was like crazy strict.
I remember.
Every single weekend I rucked.
Yeah.
Every single weekend, and I was carrying a 45-pound pack, trying to keep a pretty consistent pace. It was on par with our U.S. military, as well as I would carry a fanny pack with extra water, as well as a camelback. So I don't even know how much more poundage that adds, but quite a bit. So I did that, and that was all dead summer. Whenever I did all of those, there was only one hike I did inside. Two. One, it was literally a torrential downpour outside, so I went to the gym, and that was an interesting experience. And then the other one, I was on vacation, so I had to use the gym at the hotel.
When I first weighed myself, when I left, I was 195 pounds, and then I put my plate carrier on with ceramic plates in it.
Yep.
I had 3 AR mags on it. Forgot my little radio, so I didn't bring a radio. A little pouch that's got some shotgun shells in it. I feel like there was one other thing on it that I can't remember. All the wiring for the radio, the push button.
Yeah.
And so anyway, had that carrier on, rifle with a mag in it. My rifle itself weighs 10 pounds, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
And then my bag, I didn't ever just weigh the bag, but after I had my rifle, carrier, and my bag on, I got on the scale and I was 245 pounds. So, but I also, some things that I brought the first night, I dumped the second time. Like it was, I had a pad.
Yeah.
And the pad was actually, I probably shouldn't have dumped it in the end, but obviously I'm glad I did, and I didn't need it.
Right.
But the whole reason I brought the pad was if my hammock decides it's going to rib, I'm going to have to sleep on the ground.
Yeah.
So I'd like to have some kind of pad or something like that. So anyway, I brought the pad. First night I slept in the hammock with the, like I said, plate carrier on and the gun, so a little bit extra weight. It was no problem. So that time I dropped it. I brought three MREs, I think it was, and then I had like a little canteen thing of water that I'd periodically fill up if the water was running really, really good.
Right.
And just try to get just a little bit off the top. And then, I think the first night. Do you remember what I told you? Because I don't want to say it wrong. Because we were talking about how far we went.
I thought you told me 6 miles.
It was. I think it was more than 6 miles in total.
Oh, total of 16.
16. That was it.
16.
Yeah. So, we weren't keeping track of a pace, but we also made our own path at one point. So it was very, very slow. But do you know a lot about the Lyme disease?
Not a whole lot. I know it gives you flu-like symptoms, so, body aches.
Does it drive you insane?
I don't know about that.
I thought I was reading something on it not too long ago about it, and I thought they were saying that because there's a big conspiracy about Lyme disease.
No, I did not know.
Okay, so I don't want to say it wrong, but I want to believe it was somewhere around the period of the Cold War.
Mm-hmm.
We have a facility, and it's somewhere up there by New York, I'm pretty sure. If anybody knows what I'm talking about in the comments, leave it there. But I think at the time, it was like we were doing experiments on animals.
Okay.
Now, I don't know if this was confidential at the time or if this part's a conspiracy as well.
Okay.
But I remember something about like this facility, and it had its own island.
Okay.
Like I'm not saying it's like huge.
Right, but it was
Yeah. Like more kind of like I bet you I would put it in comparison of like Alcatraz. You know how it's like it's kind of out there in the middle of nowhere.
I've seen Alcatraz. I know what
Yeah.
you're talking about.
So it's like something like that. I don't know if it's bigger or smaller. Anyways, but at the time, I think around the Cold War, somebody thought that now we still had ticks. That was yeah. I'm not saying that the government created ticks, but we were trying. You know, there was a bunch of like mental games that was tried to be played around like Cold War, Vietnam,
Yeah.
and I mean there was a lot of stuff
Yeah,
that
this
people
gives me
were,
something to talk about here.
that were trying to do some things with your brain, whether you brainwash it or whatever you want to call it. And apparently, at this facility, we were taking ticks and we were putting Lyme disease.
Okay.
But the intention was never to have it here. It was to like drop it off over there
In
where
other countries.
different countries and everything. And it just so happened one day that I guess maybe one of the guys that worked there got one on him or whatever, and then went over to the mainland, and now we have Lyme disease that's in ticks. Because the whole reason this started up, and like all this is, like I said, I wish I knew a lot more about it than I did now. I wish I could tell you the name of the facility or whatever, this and that. But back before the Cold War, there wasn't many documentations about people getting sick from ticks. Like, because half the time when a tick bites you anyways, there's nothing that really even enters you, because the whole thing of ticks is to try to get your blood into them.
Right.
So it's not like a snake bite. When they bite you, it's purposely trying to put something into you.
Right. It's not an injection.
Exactly. So that was the whole thing around the ticks, and I'd like to do a little bit more research into it, because especially around that time, there was a lot of stuff where people was like really trying to mess with your brain. So I mean, you can go either way. You can go like the whole like Black Ops 1 to where it was like literally brainwashing you, or you can go like during that time, like propaganda was huge. I mean, that was like there's some people out there that still think we won Vietnam, and it's like, what? I mean, do you think we won Vietnam?
I'm not gonna lie. I don't really know that much about Vietnam, like the overall.
Yeah.
I know a lot more about what went on internally.
Yeah.
So like, I know more about what was going on per the missions while we was there.
Yeah.
Because those are the guys who I like to listen to.
I think we technically we got out of Vietnam, but I think the team that we were fighting for did not win in the end. And then the Cold War is like, it's supposed to be kind of confidential, anyways. I know that Daily Wire did a whole thing that was like stuff that was going on in the background, but I had to pay for it, so I didn't get to watch it all. So that time period is very, very interesting. But I don't think the tick thing's that far out there.
No, it don't sound that far out there. But it does raise a question that I have already is, what's the severity, right? Like that's a thing. The same thing with the flu.
Yes.
You get a mild case of the flu, right? And you got slight body aches, and you got a runny nose. Okay, whatever. You got the flu. No big deal.
Correct.
You can go to the doctor, not go to the doctor. Really,
Yep.
You have the option not. If you have a severe case of the flu, it's really got you down. You should probably seek medical help, right, to help cure your ailment. Could that be the same situation we got here? Could most all of a particular type of tick carry Lyme disease? And it just depends on the severity of your case. Do you get a light case or do you get a serious case?
Maybe this is wrong, and I'm sure there's a lot of people out there that's going to tell me that I'm wrong. I think it's like that in everything.
No, I would say it's like that.
Yeah.
But my point is like
that, like at one time they were trying to say it was not like that with COVID. There was like, everybody gets the exact same thing.
Yeah.
It was like, it doesn't change. And I was like, my neighbor down here, he's got a headache, and I don't have a headache, but I got COVID. He's got COVID too.
Right.
It just did everything different to everybody.
Yeah. I think that's always been that way. Everybody's going to react to everything differently. But so my point was is if they're mutating these ticks or if they're injecting them or whatever the process is, it's creating them to be more potent. I can see that being viable, right?
Right.
If you're purposely trying to weaponize something, you're going to make it the worst it can be.
Oh, 100%.
Versus like if it's just in the wild,
Yeah.
you could get a milder case.
Right.
I would think.
Yeah. I
agree
mean,
with that?
I don't know. I don't know if I've ever really got. Have you ever think you've like felt different from a tick bite?
No. The only thing that happens with me, I think I've showed you. He's seen my skin is like crazy reactive to being
Yeah,
bit.
yeah.
So like a mosquito bite, and I whelp up. So that's the only thing for me. Uh, the only other thing I've noticed personally is depending on like, I guess how long it took before I noticed it. Will depend on the severity. Like I've had a tick bite before, and I like it went all day, and I just kind of was like, man, my leg's kind of itchy. And then by the time I got home, it's been on my leg for like 12 hours, and I pulled it off, and it felt like there was a knot under the skin for like a week.
That's wild.
And then it finally like it went down. I also, me and you was talking about this. You said you did the dude thing and took a knife to it, to one of your tick bites.
So, anyways, quick. There is one tick bite that I have right now that's like right on the top of my leg.
Yeah.
That is kind of broke out a good bit.
Mhm.
And now I'm pretty sure Lyme disease. It's like you have the rash, and then there's like another whole circle.
Yeah, I've heard it looks like a bullseye.
Yes. So mine does not look like that.
Okay.
But the, the reason the knife came about it was as I was looking at it, and I was kind of grabbing it like it was a pimple, and not trying to squeeze it like to make junk come out of it.
Right.
But it looked like there was a little tiny knot that was in it, and I thought. You know, they say like you the way that you get sick with a tick is that you pull their body out, but the head still stays in there and it gets infected. So I just wanted to make sure that that was good. So anyway, I took a knife and I just slightly cut it. I dumped some alcohol in there and some hydrogen peroxide, and I put a Band-Aid on it. But anyway, now that's the story.
So that's something I've done for years. I have a particular knife. It's got a very sharp point on it, and I'll stab it into the affected area where it actually bit. Because I swear,
You use the same knife to cut raw chicken?
no,
I did.
it's my package knife, my box knife. It's got all the contaminants.
No, I used my salmonella knife.
Well, that salmon vanilla, it'll either get you or it won't, I guess. We're still waiting to see on that one. Hold it out. This guy.
So I got home last night, and my wife she's the greatest. And I said, I said, Cammy, what's the chances that I can get Lyme disease? Yeah. She looked it up, and I can't remember what it was. It was 3% or something like that, something pretty slim. And then I told Cammy, I said, what's the chances that I can get salmonella poison? She looked it up, and I can't remember what it was. She's like, why are you asking me all this? I said, what's the chances I could get both? I said, what's the chances that salmonella poison, like, I don't have it, but I'm slowly getting immune to that. Yeah. So it's like it helps with the Lyme disease. So anyway, Cammy was like, I don't even know how to search that. I said, take that 3% and divide it by this one.
Yeah.
Anyway, we got down this whole long rabbit hole of, I told Cammy that I was like, anyway, what I'm saying, I don't have salmonella poison. But what I'm saying is I have a knife, and I make jokes about it with him and all my guy friends all the time. And he's seen me do it. So yeah, this is not.
It's legit.
I'll take this knife, and maybe this is the psychopath part of me, but I'll cut raw chicken with it, and it's like I'll cut beef with it after that, or or something.
Or
Me saying it actually doesn't sound that crazy.
no, okay. Let me explain. This is what I see. This is when it was crazy. I'm there. It seems like a regular day. This guy's making his dinner. He takes the chicken out of the package. He cuts it up in pieces he wants it to be, like every other human. But then, okay, he starts to cook it, and everybody else I know would have like washed their utensils or like put them in the sink and got new ones, takes it out the skillet, and then cuts it again with the same knife and fork. And I'm like, bro, I think you need to get clean ones. And he was like, no, it's good. I do this all the time.
No.
So
My thought process is if I slowly immune myself, if I slowly build the immunity for it, if I ever have to do it one day, then I won't get salmonella poison. That could be complete BS. I like to live on the edge. What can I say?
So I feel like there's some truth with raw meats, but chicken's not one of them in my opinion. So there's certain things like fish, right? I love sushi. I'll even eat sashimi. I straight up eat raw fish, dude.
Yeah.
Awesome.
I'll tear it up live.
They're the wild dogs.
Yeah.
Beef, right? You can have it cooked medium rare or blue rare even, which is like practically you just seared it. And
No,
then, I've met a person who eats it like that. It's crazy. That means it's raw, okay?
Only like some things raw.
So I think that's doable. But they don't normally carry stuff that I'm aware of.
I don't think so.
Not that people are talking
No,
about.
no.
Not like salmonella, okay?
Nah.
Now then again, I also came from a place where we would go to my cousins and play with pet turtles. We'd have to wash our hands because they might have the salmon vanilla on their shells.
Turtles?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
So there's more things than just chicken.
Oh yeah.
Can you get it from beef? Like, is there any kind of chance?
Beef, I don't know if beef carries it.
I mean, I don't eat raw beef. That's not me.
That raises a question because with turtle, it's in a different category.
Reptile.
I don't think it's reptile. It's amphibian.
Amphibious?
Amphibian.
I'm amphibious.
But
That's what I always say when people ask me if I'm ambidextrous. I'm amphibious. You're like, what are you talking about, dude?
really throw them for a curveball.
I know that's right, dude. I mean, there's all kind of different things I can say.
But I'm not sure. That makes me ask the question, like, what about mad cow disease? You don't ever hear about that.
See, that sounds like something the government might have done too.
Well, okay.
Because what's the symptoms of mad cow? Why do they call it mad cow disease? Do you get it from cows and then what? You get crazy after that?
I guess that's my assumption. I'm just saying, like, it's something I've heard of, like it's something you hear about. But I think a lot of beef, I don't know what that would be, sicknesses.
Mm-hmm.
I think most of that we have been able to like get rid of because I think traditionally that comes from like a place that's got it really bad, and then we get a cow from wherever it was from, and then it spreads to the other cows and whatnot. But then once you can hone in on that, and you can get rid of all of the ones that are a problem and bring fresh ones in that are healthy, that's never been introduced to that disease, it pretty much eradicates it.
I wonder how it spreads.
That I don't know.
Would it even spread from cow to cow? Maybe it's just something that's genetic. Like maybe it has a baby. The baby's got mad cow disease.
I think it can spread that way.
Because I mean, how do you get? Did I already say how do you get mad cow disease?
I think you may have asked me, but I'm not sure.
Is it from eating beef?
I think it's from eating it. I don't think it's just from coming in contact.
Huh?
But
Because I mean, I got cows, but
well, I mean, it would be really simple. Even if cows didn't share it the same way, like we share a disease.
yeah.
If they poop, right, and
They
the
do.
grass grows,
Yep, it
and
happens.
they eat the grass where the poop was, right? So their body's
What
gonna.
if I eat the grass?
Well,
That's it.
the world may never know.
The world may never know.
I don't know.
Hey, I just thought of something else we ought to talk about.
What?
And I told you a little bit about it. So, for the longest time, me and John have been friends for a while. We had another friend of ours. He's still around. His name's Sam. We used to play Call of Duty with each other all the time.
All the time.
And it slowly just went, downhill is not the word. It's like, downhill makes it sound like we're not friends anymore. But no, we're all still buddies. We just don't play it anymore. Now, granted,
The game went down.
the game went downhill hardcore, and I'm sure there's a lot of people that agree. I mean, there's COD's in a weird place right now. And COD, if you don't know what that is, it's not the fish. It's Call of Duty. So I was talking with him about it, and I've always liked the Black Ops series. Now, granted, I'm a zombie guy.
I've got a funny story to tell myself.
So anyway, I told him a couple days ago that Black Ops 6 is about to come out, and there's supposedly supposed to be a mission in it about 9/11. And the main bad guy, Saddam Hussein, was that a guy?
You're Josh.
That was a guy during the
Yeah.
So that he's the main bad guy apparently. We're supposed to know tomorrow. This all comes out tomorrow. So anyway, I was talking to him about I have the perfect mission on how you could let up 9/11. And if you just wanted to throw a little bit of hints in there, a little bit of jabs at the government, you could definitely do it. Because if anybody remembers Modern Warfare 2, the old style one,
Yeah.
when you're in the airport, you remember this?
Yeah.
The no Russian.
Oh yeah.
Okay. So anyway, very controversial mission, very wild mission.
Yeah.
And I'm sure a lot of people that played the game aren't out there being serial killers.
Right.
Let's just be honest. So I was thinking for this mission, when it's around 9/11, if nobody knows at this point, the new Black Ops game set around like the Gulf War, Iraq War, whatever. And so during the mission, you could do one of two ways. You could do one way to where you're the original group of guys. Was this the one I was telling you about? Your original group of guys, and say that you got like a hint that there was supposed to be some kind of bombing or something that was supposed to go off in New York, September 11, 2001. And during the mission, I hope Call of Duty people's listening to this, because even if you don't do this, this will be sick. Or if I guess it will be even more crazier. So you take the team and you're going somewhere in New York. You're trying to be undercover, like special ops, whatever, black ops. But you get to this place and you figure out that it is not the place. You've pretty much just been bamboozled. Like, say you finally bust in this room at the very end of the mission, or what you think's the end of the mission, and there's nothing there like they said there was supposed to be, and then there's like a big projecting screen, and whether Saddam Hussein comes on or whoever else is gonna, I'm sure there's gonna be like bad guys. Obviously, there's gonna be bad guys that's not real because it's Call of Duty. But whoever comes up and says, pretty much, good luck, you took the bait, and about that time the first plane goes into the towers.
Yeah.
So then it's like, now the mission is changed to get to the towers and try to help.
Right.
So anyway, you rush down there, and about that time you see the second plane go into the towers.
Yeah.
And then you get a call from whoever you want to say your guys are, and says, if anybody does not know, there was another building that was right next to the World Trade Center. It's called Building 7. I think that's what it was called. Do you know about this?
Yeah.
It's like a not big building.
No. Yeah.
But anyway, it fell down, supposedly, somehow. The same way the other two did.
Right.
Without a plane.
Right.
So you get called to go, because I'm pretty sure all the Building 7 was like it was like more document kind of information place, I guess you would say. Now that's just me saying that. I don't know if that's true. But you're told that you need to go get stuff out of this building because there's obviously been a terrorist attack.
Right.
So anyway, and it could be chaotic. Like, you could see firefighter trucks pulling up and everything. I mean, not trying to make it too graphic, because you obviously want to pay respects to the people that was actually in it.
Right.
And so anyway, you rush over to Building 7, and then when you get in there, there's bad guys already there, and you're wondering why, and they're setting bombs on the pillars. And then the building falls down. It would just be like, because that's one of the conspiracies.
Yeah.
Is that the planes weren't the only reason that the buildings went down.
Right.
And hopefully in the future, we can provide some more information on this. But, and then you see the guys, so you get as much stuff as you can, and then you run out, and the building falls down. So then it does one of those like cut scenes where it shows like real footage, but it's obviously not the graphic stuff. Like I said, real footage, and then you can sit there and play with your mind for the rest of your life. It's like, what if that really happened in the background? What if there was a team that went in to get stuff out, but it never shows it because
Right.
they're like, I was like, that'd be the coolest thing ever.
Yeah.
So anyway, what were you gonna say though?
So I had a funny story. It just reminded me.
Yep. Yeah, let's hear it.
So there's a
This
cat.
one time in Bankhead.
Yeah. This one cat I know.
Yeah.
I'm gonna leave him anonymous with this story. But the first Black Ops game came out, Call of Duty Black Ops, and he was telling his parents, he wasn't old enough at the time, he said, "Hey, I want to get the new Black Cops game."
Cops.
And they were like,
Was this person white or black?
"What?"
Oh gosh.
And they're like, "What are you talking about?" He's like, "The game Black Ops." He's like, "Everybody's talking about it." And so they go to the game store.
That's wild.
It's obviously not there because he meant Black Ops.
Oh, so he didn't even know.
No,
Oh, he legitimately thought it was about black cops.
Well, I guess
That's wild.
it was freaking hilarious. But
Imagine like going up and telling the GameStop guy, "Here to get black cops." They're like, "Excuse me,
what is that?
what is that?"
I heard of that one. Yeah.
He's like, "Oh, the one with Martin Luther King in it. Let's go get it." That would be hilarious. I thought you were gonna say like what everybody calls black ops. You know what everybody the other that people say for black ops, black cocks. My cousin used to say Call of Duty Black Cocks.
Yes, I know what you're talking
And I
about.
was like, dude, but that's great, dude. Call of Duty Black Cops. Now they got Black Ops 2, Black Ops 3.
Those guys are just doing a good job.
Hey, on the cover of the new Black Ops, there's a black guy. Apparently, he's wearing a T-Rex armor's plate carrier too.
Yes, I've heard about that.
So that's pretty interesting if that's the case. But I'm hoping, because that's the one thing I've always kind of liked about Call of Duty is, now I am a campaign guy. I do like listen to the campaign and stuff, and obviously it's not real, but they can play with real stuff and do things that gets your mind thinking. Like I don't know if there's any kind of merit, excuse me, to the first Black Ops game, because the whole first Black Ops game was literally Mason, your main character, is essentially getting brainwashed through the whole game.
Yeah.
So
that leads me back to something I was going to talk about earlier. So there was apparently, this is something I found out from my mom told me, that she had heard that there was people raising some cane about this weird military like recruiting commercial kind of.
is this now or back then?
This is recent.
Okay.
This is something that's going on right now.
Okay.
And so of course I googled it because I want to see
Yep.
what they got going on.
Of course.
And it's about the Ghost in the Machine, which is PSYOP. Okay. So
Also Nickelback.
okay.
I think there's a song called Ghost in the Machine.
Is there?
No, something machine. Anyway, go on.
So the PSYOP, right? So that's psychological operations.
Yeah, that's definitely Nickelback.
Okay.
Yeah.
But
Not just the song.
not just but the
Everybody knows Nickelback. Tell me I'm wrong. Tell me I'm wrong.
I know.
You rather love him or hate him, but everybody knows him.
Okay, I'll give you that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Psyops.
I'll be on something.
Bobby on something.
New conspiracy.
Nickelback's always in a conspiracy.
But they were talking about there's these, for all intents and purposes, we should say there was these men with blurred out faces doing different stuff. And if you watch the video, it's weird and crazy, and like there's so much to it.
I'm gonna
So
check this out.
I watched the first one, and then I watched the second one, which is the newest one, and we definitely need to go check it out here in a minute. But it's all about psychological operations, right? And that's what those guys do. And so imagine you're on a team, right? And your whole job is to design a flyer that says you're at war with this other country when you're not.
Dude.
And then you design another one. We talked about this recently.
Yes, it was in that movie.
That says the opposite. But this is your job.
Yeah.
Okay? So these guys are currently in to recruit right now, apparently. You know, we need some PSYOP guys. I think it's awesome. I think, well,
This is through the, just U.S. military?
through the Army.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Well, I take that back. I think it is through SOCOM, Special Operations Command.
That's wild they got a commercial.
Yeah.
I don't know if I've ever seen a commercial for the higher tier teams.
You've not seen these?
Besides the normal Navy SEAL commercial you might get every now and then.
Y'all should all go look this stuff up.
You know, only commercials I've seen lately from the Army has been gay ones. And I'm not even lying. Like, I'm not just saying gay like they're...
What do you mean?
Dude, they got this whole commercial going on right now about some girl that's got 2 moms,
Yeah.
and that she's strong because that she has 2 moms. I don't give a fudge if you got 2 moms. I was like, as long as you can do it.
Right.
Why do you got to throw that in?
Yeah.
Yeah, that I don't care.
That's something else, yeah. That's something else
That's a psyop in itself right there. They're trying to convince everything that,
Statistically, by the way, me and this guy looked at it.
oh yeah,
Parents with a male and female, a traditional mom and dad, are stronger homes.
yep,
Statistically
yep.
proven.
And you want to hear something even crazier?
Go ahead.
For the kids, I don't want to say mental health or happiness or anything like that, but it's thank you, proven that obviously mom and a dad, like you said, has the strongest household.
Yeah.
Believe it or not, a single dad has a better percentage, looking off of statistics, than a single mom does. Like, not just saying money or anything like that.
Right.
I'm saying like the ability to raise the kid, which is extremely strange because women are so emotional, and that's why they're so good at taking care of kids.
It's natural.
100%.
Yeah, they're a natural
They're exactly. That was perfect. What I was about to say. They're so much more on the thought of caring about so many things. So anyway, I thought that was really crazy to say that obviously we all know that, like you said, try to keep the family together.
Right.
I mean,
right.
try to, because especially if you got kids. But the single dad had a better chance somehow.
Yeah, I found that interesting. But do you know what else I've heard? I have heard about an absolute epidemic in the country about kids growing up with single moms.
Oh no, dude, there's tons of them.
Because moms, especially with boys, they're not going to be able to teach you how to be a guy.
Right.
And they're not going to teach you how to go and do, guy stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, you categorize it however you want. That's how I categorize it. That's why I air quotes. But it's going to be a lot harder.
Yeah.
You know.
I mean, there's a bunch of things that I would probably say that I was raised more as like a mama's boy than I was like a daddy's boy.
Yeah.
Like my mom was a trooper, and my dad was too.
Yeah.
But dude, my mom, she's done more for me than I could ever imagine. So anyway, I clung on to her a little bit tighter. Now, obviously, I learned like working on stuff. I've got that from my dad. My dad worked on houses a bunch of times when he grew, and he loves cars.
Right.
But it was like there's many times maybe it's you know how I don't really get mad at things.
Yeah.
And there's a bunch of times, especially times Cammy's pointed out to me, where it's like, hey, you might be looking like a pushover to other people.
Right.
And it might just give that effect. Now, in the end, I don't care really that much on what other people think. But I do about the ones that I love.
Right. Right.
But I think that's definitely something that, just like you said, I mean, because the dad teaches the grit and the hard work.
Right.
That's why you need the dad to be there.
Right.
So, but yeah, dude, there's a ton of single moms out there.
Yep.
But you know what I just now thought of something. You know what that bears the question? And also, shout out to the single moms that's working hard. Yeah, you're killing the game. Me and him may not know your name, but when we're looking at this camera and we're telling you, good job, keep going, good job, keep going, you're killing it. And single dads too. I just know that I know there's, like you said,
an abundance.
But that bears the question though, is I wonder why nobody, like what we just did there, why does nobody ever say shout out to the single dads? Because technically, if you're with a woman and you divorce, and now unless the woman's keeping the kid full time, then dad needs to get a grip. But if the dad's still taking care of the kid, why does nobody say shout out to the single dads out there?
I don't know.
You never think about that.
You don't.
I mean, unless.
I wonder what the percentage of single dads are.
I was about to say, we're assuming that when we're saying single moms, that the dad's just hitchhiking and leaving.
Yeah.
And sadly, that's what's happens, I think, a good amount of time.
Yeah.
But, yeah, so.
Interesting. Yeah.
I've never even thought about it until we just kind of really started talking about it.
Yeah, and I'm not trying to down any.
No. That's not that at all.
I don't understand y'all's situations. So.
Yeah, for sure. I listen to this one guy and he talks about it all the time, saying that his mom and his dad, when he was born, they got married. Slightly after they raised him, they got a divorce, and then they got pregnant again, so they got married again. So, and sadly now I think they're divorced again.
Yeah.
But it was like, hey, at least you're going in there and trying. I mean, here's an opinion that I'd like to get from you. Do you think nowadays, just from what you know and what you see, do you think there's a lot of people that are getting divorced that is just kind of not trying hard enough?
You know, I kind of think so.
I do too.
I also feel like just from some of the stuff that people I've talked to recently, some different young people and stuff. I say young, they're my age. I feel like there's a sense of like they just don't care. People don't care anymore. I feel like.
No, I agree with you. The word divorce now is thrown around everywhere.
Yeah.
I mean, from somebody seeing it from my side, from somebody that is married, we don't even say that word in the house because if you don't now, I heard this from Andrew Tate. Take it from what it is. I think he says some things that's kind of sharp. He says this about depression, and we could talk about this. He says you won't ever be depressed if you don't think depression's real. So it's like if you don't ever put divorce on the dinner plate,
right,
then you'll never have a chance to eat it.
Yeah.
So I think we put it on the dinner plate too much now.
Yeah.
Because there's a bunch of people that I think I know some, and I'm sure you know some, that like think of divorce like you're breaking up with somebody. Like it's
right.
We can get married, and if it don't work out, it don't work out.
Right.
And I'm just like, man, I don't think that's the way you should go into it.
I don't think so either. I think you should go into it with more of like the mentality you're talking about. Like, we're in this for the long haul. We're not even going to talk about that as an option.
Yeah, because not only are you making a promise to that significant other, you're making a promise to God.
Yeah.
That you're going to stick with this person forever.
Yeah.
And it's like, was it me and you that was talking about the whole adultery thing?
I think so.
That, because, man, I'm losing my train of thought. I've been having some awesome conversations with this guy and some other people about God, dude. And if you don't know who this man is, and you like reading books, read the Bible. If you like watching movies, watch The Chosen. If you like interacting with people, go to some church event or something like that. All this to say, you're also making that promise to him. So when we were talking about the adultery thing, it says it. There's a lot of metaphors in the Bible.
Yeah.
If nobody's ever put that together, and it pretty much says if a woman leaves a guy, that she has committed adultery. Is that something around that concept?
It's somewhere in that concept I've heard.
And I was trying to figure out, because it makes it sound like to the average person that if the guy initiates the divorce, then the woman's an adulterer. If the woman initiates the divorce, the woman's an adulterer. Like, it makes it sound like the woman's the bad guy every time. And I don't think that is.
I don't think so.
I think the way that I ended up interpreting it in the end, though, was because you made that promise to God, it doesn't matter if you changed paperwork saying that you're no longer with that person.
Right.
It's when that one person decides to be with somebody else that has now done it.
Yeah.
So once you broke the promise to God, is when it's considered versus you breaking the promise to the actual significant other.
Right.
Or the document.
Because breaking it to the significant other, I would think it'd be on the same level as like breaking it with God. Like you actually, like you're just done.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Versus just saying like document, like you went and lived in the shed for a year.
Yeah.
You know, like imagine you still eat dinner together, everything else is the same except for when you go to bed and you go to your place. You know what I'm saying? That's not, I don't really think.
You don't think what?
I don't think it's the same. Like if you're willing to sit there and eat food with a person and talk to them watch a show, but then you're like, but I'm not going to sleep where you sleep.
Yeah, dude, that's strange.
That just sounds petty.
No, I agree with you.
I don't think it's a dog.
It's
just petty.
It's no, I always thought that was strange, especially the older that I got.
Yeah.
It's like just you're going over and you're essentially gonna play home.
Yeah.
But it's not your home.
You know, I've talked about people who want to play house all the time.
Yeah.
Because I've met other people who it's like they don't want none of the commitment.
Yeah.
They just want to play house.
Yeah.
So they never take it past boyfriend and girlfriend.
Yeah, yeah.
They're like, oh, we're just boyfriend and girlfriend. But you've been together for 10 years.
Yeah, yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. And you know, there is the people out there, and I do see it from this realm, the people that's just kind of like the F the government.
Right.
Like they don't have to do any of my stuff.
Yeah.
So that is something that I would have to definitely kind of deep dive into.
Yeah.
Because it's I was about to compare two things I don't think is the same. Because my friend's brother, he just got married with his wife now, and they didn't have a ceremony or anything. He just went to the courthouse.
Yeah.
He changed all the stuff.
That's my mom and dad did that.
Yeah. So you're still. Do they do the whole thing there? Like, I wonder how is that process? Like you still like. Is there a pastor still there, or some person that still does the thing, or is it just literally wrote down and done?
I think.
Like, does somebody still come in, even if it's somebody there that's just saying, "Hey, you're."
I think the guy when we were there pretty much reads the thing. You know, it's like by the state of Arkansas, XYZ, you're married, and then you have to have a witness. So like my grandpa was there.
Yeah. Huh. So you don't remember them saying anything about God or anything?
No, but you got to remember I was really.
Yeah.
I was a freaking tiny kid.
That's interesting. I'd want to know how that. Because is that the same? Like, is that still the same promise to God if it wasn't
I think,
spoken?
I think so. If I base everything off of your heart, dog.
Yeah.
Pretty much, that's 100% of what a lot of this stuff is.
Yeah.
Because I'm even the guy who goes as far as to, you know, like there's a pastor who I like, who says you don't have to pray out loud.
Yeah.
Okay. He knows what you're thinking.
Yeah.
Okay. So you might be in a place where you can't. It may be illegal. You may have traveled somewhere and they say you can't do that here. That's fine.
Yeah.
You can still do it, just not out loud. And that's fine.
Yeah, no, I agree.
You know.
You can talk to him however you want.
So I don't think you have to have a guy who says you're married. I think if you both talk about it as individuals and accept it in your heart that you're bonded in this fashion, then I think it counts. But I do think there has to be a conversation had.
Yeah.
I don't think you can just be like,
because
well, me and them are on the same page.
Because, like, I guess the more we sit here and we kind of talk about it, I guess it kind of does go back to it. I was kind of thinking a marriage ceremony is almost, in a way, the same kind of system like you would be when you get baptized. Because all baptism really is to show others that you're committed to God. I'm pretty sure. I may jack the words up there a little bit, because now, granted, I know there are some people out there that think you have to be baptized to go to heaven. The criminal on the cross right next to Jesus was not baptized.
No.
I mean, he literally stood there with Jesus.
Yeah.
So, if he can make it, and he sinned a bunch just like we all have. Now, I'm not saying you should not get baptized. I mean, I got baptized. No, I waited until I was like 19. September 7th, and I was 19 years old. I kind of knew what I was doing. Like, it wasn't just like, oh, I'm going to go do this because you're supposed to do this.
Right.
It was like, all right, I think me and God's relationship is where it should be. I'm ready to be known to the rest of the world as a Christian male, and this is one way that I can show those people. And maybe it might bring somebody else to try to even, not technically take the step to get baptized, but like at least
Get them thinking.
Get them thinking.
Yeah,
for sure. I just watched. Do you know who Cliff. Have you ever seen that guy? He's an older fellow.
Yes,
He
he's
talks about
fantastic.
yes.
Yeah.
He was just on Logan Paul's podcast.
Really?
I have not watched. What's it? Impulsive. That's what it's called. I have not watched that in so long.
I've never seen it.
Dude. When Logan Paul was huge,
Yeah.
I was watching it all the time.
Yeah.
And then obviously a lot of things have happened, and I've just not cared as much about it anymore.
Right.
But Logan Paul is not really a confound Christian. I mean, I don't think he says he is really. And from this podcast, he did. But there was one thing that Cliff said, because we were also talking about this, and I always wondered, is asking too many questions going to lead you down a hole that sways you away from God? Asking questions about everything, because I believe there's some things that we're just not meant to know.
Right.
If we were to know all these things, we'd be just as powerful as God. So I don't think you're meant to know all these things. And Logan Paul kind of says that in the podcast. And Cliff says the best thing for Christians to do is to always want to seek more knowledge. And I was like, that's freaking sick.
Yeah.
So I ask questions, read your Bible, talk to people that are smarter than you, not just about spiritually stuff, everything.
Right.
I mean, this is why we started this podcast.
Yeah. You know, I'm all about always learning. I think I said it on like the first episode.
Yeah.
Always talking about learning, dude. And I'm all about that. And so I agree.
Yeah.
I think you need to be trying to push yourself into a more knowledgeable position.
Yeah, no, I agree with you.
So,
I mean, yeah, we say it every podcast, I'm pretty sure. Once you stop wanting to learn, I mean, your life kind of goes into like an endless circle of nothingness.
right.
I guess it is. It's like I've known my wife for 6 years now, and I still ask her questions about random stuff. Now, granted, as she told me this before, there's a good chance, but I like to be reminded. What's that one saying that's hit me with it?
It's a classic. You need to be reminded more often than you need to be
That's
taught.
it. That's it. So
Yeah.
that is what we as good men are trying to do as much as possible. We all hope that you guys try to do that as much as possible. Go out there, remind people you love them.
Yeah.
That it's going to get better.
Yeah.
PBD says the future looks bright. I agree with it, even though I read Revelations all the time. I do agree with it, and I'm happy to be here.
Yeah.
So while we're here, you might as well make the best of it.
That's right.
And that's what we try to do all the time.
Yeah.
So go out there, have a great Memorial Day. Like I said, go out there and praise and be thankful for the ones that sacrificed their lives to give us the greatest country in the world.
Yeah.
And if you don't think that is the case, you need to leave. Flat out. This is all I'm going to say. And anything else left you got to say?
No, I think we pretty much covered it.
I think we covered it.
Been a great day.
Yes, sir. It sure has. Guys, have a good one. And this is the wrap to episode 6 of the Skeptics Podcast. See you later.
See you.